For my personal learning artifact, I have taken Evan's advice and put less work into the actual artifact itself and more work into the description of why I chose it. I've chosen the RTI pyramid. It's something that's near and dear to my heart. I've worked a ton with it in my building over the past 2 years to try and get it to work properly. And as a result of taking the personalized learning course, I think there are some things that I can incorporate next year, and I'm really looking forward to it. Focusing on the pyramid itself, if I look at Tier 1, throughout the pyramid, I'm going to focus on the way things used to be, or currently are, and the way that I envision things that could be. So back to Tier 1, I look at this and I see Tier 1 is universal, Tier 1 core classroom instruction. It's a must-have. It's generally probably very teacher-directed, maybe a lot of direct instruction. But moving to the future, it seems to me like we might be able to turn this into a more of a personal learning experience where students are given some options in which they could show that they have met the standards for a particular class. Moving on to Tier 2, this is what we would typically call our intervention period in Davenport, and at the middle school level anyway. It's 30 minutes a day, 4 days a week, and these kids are here because you didn't do well on your work, you didn't get your work done, you failed a test, you were sick, gone, whatever you need to catch up. Again, still very teacher-directed, but here I think this is where we could offer a totally personal learning experience to the kids. I would say if you are up to speed on your Tier 1 instruction, this is a great place for you to self-select some enrichment time. Perhaps you could be part of the yearbook, show choir, newspaper, student council, or even if your school's creative enough, have some sort of self-selected learning experience. But it does need to be, curriculum based. You need to say, hey, I wish to enrich myself in, science, social studies, math, language arts, in some way, shape, or form. But you do need to keep up with your Tier 1 instruction, which is the universal curriculum that needs to be mastered by every student. Moving up to Tier 3, again in Davenport, this is the course where you have to attend every day. It's 45 minutes a day. Generally there because you've not only shown a lack of success in the classroom, but over time you've shown a lack of success, just generally with the subject area. To me, this kind of seems like it used to be like a punitive situation. I mean, in other words, we found out what you're really not good at school, and we're going to make you do it all day long. So you have to go to your regular math class, you have to spend 30 minutes a day, 4 days a week in your Tier 2 math class, and ultimately now you have to go to this Tier 3 math class. In our district, by attending a Tier 3 math class, that means you're giving up an elective. So to me, I think we could use this as a motivational piece. To personalize the educational experience, we're taking away an elective from kids who struggle in a particular area. If we can find a way to motivate these kids to do well in either Tier 1 or Tier 2, this opens up a whole new experience for these kids. I mean, they can choose things like STEM, computer applications, foods, music, band, orchestra, you name it. Unfortunately, when we find the kids who struggle with Tier 1 instruction and don't succeed at Tier 2, it seems like we punish them by sending them to Tier 3, and we remove those things that would literally give these kids the opportunity to personalize their own learning experience. That being said, if they do have to attend a Tier 3 instruction piece, I think the way that we could personalize it versus giving it a personal learning experience is to make the experience, part face-to-face with the intervention piece, but part online. In math, for instance, some of the pieces that I've looked at are MobyMax and ALEKS. And I think that those programs like that are the adaptive learning pieces where students can fill in the gaps, so to speak. Again, if they're showing the need to have to do that, it seems to me that as I look at the pyramid, the lower I am on the pyramid, the more personal the learning experience. Of course, there are universal things that need to be taught, but if the kids show the wherewithal to accomplish those standards and things like that, the teacher has to be less involved. The further up the pyramid that I work, it seems like the more personalized the experience needs to be. In other words, the teacher needs to get more involved, guide them down the correct pathway, and steer them more towards the objectives that are needing to be met. And again, it seems like it could be a situation where it's very fluid. You may be in Tier 3 for a while, could possibly work your back way to Tier 1 and back into Tier 2. That being said, I really think there's some positivity here that could come out of this personalized learning class in terms of the Davenport Community School District and the RTI experience. I look forward to implementing these things in my classroom and hope you all have learned something similar along the way.